Hey, Raindrops. On today's episode of Reality with the King, I am back with my girl, Jasmine Henley Brown. And today, no, we are not discussing anything related to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It did not air on Sunday night because apparently, I don't know if they thought Black folks weren't going to be at home and at another cookout. But baby, we were at the cookout waiting to see Atlanta Housewives, right? But nonetheless, I'm happy to be able to bring Jasmine back because Raindrops, Love Island is literally the talk of the town. And if you have any sort of presence on social media, it dominates the timeline to the point I love seeing the memes of like, now wait a minute, I know Love Island ain't that good to where y'all talk about this shit every damn day. If somebody said it comes out every damn day except on Wednesday. So nonetheless, I am giving my Raindrops, who may not be familiar with Love Island, a quick crash course on the show, but we're also going to talk about the latest developments that have occurred overnight with fan favorite Cierra Ortega. But Raindrops, give a warm welcome for y'all fave, and she's mine too, Jasmine Henley Brown.
Hello, my friend, and hello, Raindrops. I've missed you all. I have missed you. I love talking to you about TV. It's one of my favorite things.
Now, listen, I love talking to you in general, but girlfriend, we have to talk about Love Island. I wasn't capping, as a young kid would say.
Right, because you're on your YN stuff. I saw you doing the TikTok trends. The girls and the boys were in the comments like, "Oh, Carlos." I'm like, now,
I know.
ladies.
Who would have thought wearing a tank top from Target and a fitted would cause so much stir?
It was a tank top, the beard, the fitted, the chain. It's giving rapper. It is giving rapper.
All right, I'm in my YN era, but today I am in my Love Island era because Jasmine, before we get into the latest developments of what occurred with multiple people, not multiple, but a couple of people being removed from the show due to some racist remarks, tweets, social media stuff that have been uncovered, I do want you to give the Raindrops a very quick crash course on Love Island that is hosted, right? Hosted by Vanderpump Real star Ariana Madix.
Yeah, so Love Island. Now, this is my first season watching Love Island. I'm a new Love Islander this season, but it's like part dating show, part social experiment, part competition show. And it takes, like the most beautiful 20 somethings that you can find, they send them to Fiji, put them in this villa together, and then they just get to date each other. And they go through like a series of like coupling up, and then they can recouple. They have like the world's grossest challenges where they do stuff like spit milk into each other's mouths, and they have to kiss on everybody. Yeah, it's raunchy. Apparently, the challenges have been getting freakier and freakier each season. So this, season 7 is likely the most freaked out season they've had yet. But yeah, so they're on they're in Fiji in this villa, and they get to date each other. And the whole goal of Love Island, though, is to find love. Now, there is a $100,000 prize that you can also win. So some couples have been said to go on there just so they can scam and try to win the money. But the idea is to find love. And there have been some successful couples. Season 6 most notably have 3 successful couples. The winners, Serena and Cordell, Janae and Kenny, and also Leah and Miguel. They all met and were coupled on season 6, and they are all still together to this day. So people do genuinely find love in a lot of fame. And so that leads us into, season 7, which is the most viewed season. I think the statistic is like 40% increase in new viewership from last season. So like, more people are watching now than ever. And it is partly because of the success of season 6 and how many great couples came out of that, and how famous the couples and the people who like didn't end up coupled up, or when they got so famous from being on Love Island. So yeah, season 7 is where we are.
And does that explain it? No, you did a fantastic job. And what I've also learned is that there's a few castmates whose Instagram following for the first time in the history of the show have amassed more than 1 million. Somebody just reached 2 million
Huda.
followers. Okay,
Yeah, Huda.
on Instagram.
Yeah, she just reached 2 million, and she's one of the most controversial cast members of the season because she was coupled up with this guy, the hottest guy in the villa. She was coupled up with him at first, and very overbearing, like wanted to close off with him, and America recoupled him because they saw how like overbearing and toxic she was, and America recoupled him with somebody else. She crashed out. It was like a whole thing. She was calling the boy everything but a child of God. And then he ends up being betrayed by his friends in the villa, and they voted him out and let her stay. So she's controversial because half of the audience is like, she should have been sent home. Like, production should have sent her home because of her like verbal abuse of this guy Jeremiah. But there's another half called the Hood of Stands that some people call them the Hood Rats. They call them the Hood Rats. But the Hood of Stands are like, no, that's my queen. Like, she deserves a crash out. Like, the girl is she's going through a lot. She has a baby. It's a whole yeah. But I will, beautiful young lady. She's 24 years old. I did not agree at all with her treatment of Jeremiah or her treatment of any of the bombshells when they came in. She does seem to be very manipulative and selfish, but she's 24 years old and she had her child when she was like 19. So I think on top of her being young, there's some arrested development that happened. If you have a baby at 19, you have to, your life changes forever. And so I think she just stuck in like, a younger mindset. And then being 24, like, who doesn't have some of their worst moments in their 20s? Like, so where I want to, drag her, I also am like, as a woman in her 30s, I've crashed out on multiple occasions. And luckily they were not blasted for the entire world to see. So go me.
Go Jazz and go to the Huda Stands and also the Hood Rats. I'm here for all of it. So one of the things that I do want to talk to you about is you mentioned how America voted for somebody to be recoupled. So the audience gets to vote for who gets to be in the relationship?
Yeah, so the audience has some say so. We don't vote every episode, but there are times when polls open up. You have to download the Love Island vote. You have to register to vote in the Love Island app. Yes. Yeah, and so ever so often we will get a chance to vote. So sometimes you'll vote for your favorite couple, or just recently we had to vote for our favorite islander, so like our favorite girl and our favorite boy. In the case of Jeremiah and Huda, so 3 bombshells came in and America got a chance to vote for who the bombshells could be coupled up with. So the female bombshell was Iris. America voted for her to be coupled up with Jeremiah because we all wanted him away from Huda. And I'll tell you, Carlos, that was one of the times when America was the most united, because I don't think I knew a person that did not vote for Iris to be coupled up with Jeremiah. And then Jalen and Olandria were coupled up together. Gosh. And Pepe and Hannah were voted to be coupled up together. So that's how that went. But we don't vote every episode. But when we do vote, we rock the vote. We rock the vote.
All right, rock the vote. I haven't heard that since back in the Ella Cool J
I know,
days.
right?
Okay, so we gotta talk about these most recent episodes. So one of the things that happened last night. So I had a great holiday weekend. I'm on the plane headed back to my residence, and it was breaking news that Love Island Cierra Ortega makes shocking exit for personal reasons as past racial slurs resurfaced. This happened Sunday, July 6th, where the narrator Ian, is it Sterling?
Yep, Ian Sterling.
I believe, announced during episode 30 that Cierra has left the Peacock show due to a personal situation, therefore leaving contestant Nick single. Jazz, what happened to this situation? Because I have been hearing, in addition to this particular exit, there has been, I believe 1 or 2 prior to this, for some racial slurs that have been uncovered through a deep social media dive from the fans.
Yes. So in order to talk about Cierra, let's back up to the first Islander this season who was actually sent home for racially insensitive comments. Yulissa was one of the OG. So the people that come into the villa on the first day are considered the OG. So Yulissa was considered an OG Islander. And I want to say it was like episode 1 or 2. Very early on in the season, some clips from a podcast that she went on resurfaced of her saying the N-word. Yulissa is Cuban from Miami and has no business saying the N-word. And it was like not one of those things where it was like a one-time thing a long time ago. These are like recent clips, and there were multiple clips of her saying the N-word. So you can tell that this is just a word that's in her daily lexicon, right? And so immediately people are like, no. So they snatched Miss Yulissa up out of the villa. I think she was only in her couple, maybe one, like I said, one episode. We get to like episode 2 and she's gone. And it's kind of the same deal. Yulissa has left the villa and everybody knew it was because of those racially insensitive comments. So then fast forward, mind you, like you said, this is episode 30 of a show that comes on every single day except for Wednesday. And then on Saturdays, they air After Sun, which is like a recap of everything that's gone on so far. So we're getting 5 episodes of the show. We're on episode 30, and Cierra Ortega, she was one of the first bombshells that came in, and she coupled up with Nick right away. So they were a long-standing couple in the villa, and they were the first couple to close off. And on Love Island, when you close off, that means that you are no longer exploring any other connection. So like you are not trying to find love with anybody else. This is your person that you want to go to the end with and hopefully win the $100,000 with. So she was coupled up with Nick. They were the first couple to close off. And then all of a sudden, an Instagram story of her resurfaced from, I want to say 2023. She was going to get some Botox procedures and she was talking about wanting to get them in her eyes because her eyes look C-word, which is, a derogatory term that people use to talk about Asian people. And people were obviously upset about that, right? And so they're like, hey, if you kicked Yulissa off of the show for saying the N-word, you guys need to kick Cierra off. And I think there was, I don't want to speak for producers or for production, but I think they were kind of scrambling with what to do because we're so close to the finale. The finale comes on the 13th, I think. So we're very close to the Love Island finale.
That's this week.
Yeah. So and I'll check in a second to make sure I'm being truthful with that. But yes, so I'm sure they were scrambling, but then another Instagram post resurfaces of her from years ago when she said it again. And so they're like
the same, she used the
same exact slur. She said it again. Yeah. And so I think at that point there was no way to explain it. They had to get her off. And so when we come into this episode that just aired, we see Cierra literally in the morning. So the girls we see her in bed with Nick. The girls are getting ready. And then the next scene, Cierra has left the villa due to personal reasons. And now Nick, her couple, is, they're asking him how he's feeling. He's sad. But, in true Love Island fashion, honey, they were sad for about 5 minutes. And then that next scene, boom, there we go. Back to normal. Everybody's just back. He coupled up with Sierra's friend Olandria, which people have been shipping Nick Olandria for this entire time. So they are finally getting the Nick Olandria story that they were hoping for. It's so messy, Carlos, that I am like, I can't believe you weren't watching this. It's 20-year-old mess, 20-something-year-old mess, but it is so chaotic and entertaining.
No, and that's the thing. I have a big case of FOMO because there's nothing. First of all, Jazz and I are alike to where there's a couple of shows that we used to be like, are you watching this? I'm like, no. She's like, I can't be the only one that isn't watching something. I'll watch it first and I'll tell you if it's good. Mm-hmm. Because we always want to be at the epicenter of pop culture. And make no mistake about it, my barber, who is a heterosexual Black man, watches Love Island when he's cutting hair. He's obsessed with it. Yeah. A lot of my friends are obsessed with it. And I really need to get on the Love Island train. But that's why I'm happy you're educating us, for those who haven't watched, to watch. So I'm going to start watching next season for sure. And you're all right. The finale does air this Sunday, July 13th. So it's going to be a freaking doozy. Now, what has occurred is Cierra's parents, Jazz, released a statement moments after she was relieved of her services. Shout out to Shawnee O'Neal. So here we go. The statement reads, as Cierra's parents, this has been one of the most painful weeks of our lives. We've seen the post, the headlines, the hurt, and the hate. And while Cierra hasn't seen any of it yet, because Jazz, they have their phones and social media, all that's confiscated, so they don't get the chance to see anything. Okay. So it reads, and while Cierra hasn't seen any of it yet, we have. And so have the people who love her. We're not here to justify or ignore what's surfaced. We understand why people are upset, and we know accountability matters. But what's happening online right now has gone far beyond that. The threats, the cruel messages, the attacks on her family, her friends, even her supporters, it's heartbreaking, it's uncalled for, and no one deserves that kind of hate, no matter what mistakes they've made. The statement goes on and on and on, but in the end, it goes, we're asking for compassion, for patience, for basic human decency, not just for her, but for everyone caught in the middle of this. Thank you to those who continue to show love, even when it's not easy. So one thing we know about fandom, you and I have talked about this on my podcast.
Yes.
The fandom of like the Drag Race fans, the Housewives fans, the Love and Marriage Huntsville fans, darling. We know that these are fans that are like very much outspoken on social media. You're on social media as well. You watch the show. What kind of things have you been seeing about Cierra to where the parents felt the need to release this statement as Jasmine shaking her head?
Gosh, because it's been brutal, Carlos. I mean, this season as a whole, a lot of OG Love Island fans have been saying that they hate that there are so many new viewers because they said that the new viewers are effectively ruining the show. When everything was going on with Huda and Jeremiah, people were calling CPS on Huda. Now, I haven't like confirmed.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is what I've heard via like multiple TikToks. People were saying that people were calling CPS on Huda. They found her child's father. They found photos of her child, and Peacock had to put a statement or on the screen ahead of an episode like, hey, we know you love our Islanders and we know you love watching the show, but please be kind. Like they had to like put out a public statement to ask people to stop cyberbullying these people. A couple of episodes after that, Chelley and Olandria, who are two of the Black women on the Love Island cast, they had 2 episodes where they were kind of displaying some behavior that wasn't so kosher, and the audience flipped on them, and then they were going to their social media pages and like leaving hateful comments and like racist comments. And so yes, with Cierra, when they go to Love Island, like you mentioned, everybody is like locked away, so they are completely cut off from the outside world. They don't know what's happening politically. They don't know anything, right? They don't have any cell phones. They don't even have clocks in the villa, so they don't even know what time of day it is. Yes. So they are completely shut off from everything. And so they're called handlers, which are like family and friends who will run their social media accounts. And Cierra's social media was actually doing very well. Like her handler was her friend. I want to say her name was MJ, running Cierra's account. She was doing such a good job. She got a feature in like Cosmo magazine to just talk about running the social media account of somebody in Love Island. All of this stuff starts to come out. MJ releases a statement saying she is distancing herself from Cierra and no longer will be running her social accounts. Cierra had another friend named Johnny, who was a former Love Island contestant, who was also very supportive of her. Johnny also came out and said she's distancing herself from Cierra. And the backlash, like that really stoked the flame of the backlash because people were already upset, like, wow, that was racist. But it's like when your closest friends come out and they distance themselves from you, it lets strangers know that like it's like open season on you, right? Like they can start going hard. And so Cierra is Mexican, if I'm not mistaken. Or she might be mixed, but I know a part of her heritage is Mexican. I've heard that people are trying to call ICE on her parents because of this. Yeah. So it's become, quite frankly, disgusting. Like I'm all for holding people accountable, but I also think like there is a way that we can talk to people and have them learn from their mistakes. I don't think people are irredeemable. Even Yulissa, who said the N-word, me as a Black person, I don't think she deserves death threats. It's a teachable moment. Like, hey, you should not be saying that word. It's not okay. Yeah, you should not be on a show like Love Island because you shouldn't be rewarded, but you don't deserve death threats. And it's the same with Cierra. And I'm certainly, I don't want to speak for Asian Americans with this slur, but I assume they would feel the same way. Like, I don't like that she said it. She should have been removed from the villa, but she doesn't deserve the hate that she is receiving. Like, people are telling her to herself, like, just completely terrible. And it's gone too far. And that's what, you know what I mean? Like, stan culture on the internet is reached a level where I'm just like, what are we going to do about it? Because people should not, like, she's going to come out of this villa, open her phone, and all she's going to see is a barrage of hate and like threats and people threatening her parents. And it's like, who are we as a people that this is how we treat people who just need to be held accountable? Yes, but they also need the space to be able to learn from their mistakes and then move on.
Oh, I could not agree more. Listen, stan culture has gone way too far. It's one thing to have an opinion, have it. Yep. It's one thing to stan somebody who you love. Fine. What irritates me about where things are going, I'm so glad you brought that up, Jasmine, is the fact that no one is holding the stan culture accountable to the point where they need to be removed off of social media. When they try to remove people from the jobs, again, I'm not here to judge anybody. It only God can judge you. You can say something is wrong, but at the end of the day, I agree with Jazz. Nobody is deserving of a death threat to the point where it's based upon something that, yes, was 1,000% wrong and they should be called out for being wrong. I personally believe everything is a teachable moment. If someone wants to understand and be taught, you can't help everybody. You can't teach everybody. You can't redeem everybody. However, I do think offer somebody the chance. And if they choose to reject it, then that's on them. But under no regard should a death threat, calling ICE on someone's parents, all because somebody has chosen to sign up to do a reality show for your entertainment.
Yeah, that's it, right? She's just a character on a reality show. That's it. She's not, like, we don't have ownership of these people, and we certainly don't have the right to be like their judge or jury to that degree. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. I do want to say, though, I did see something. I want to be very clear with this. I have not had time to like verify this to see if this was like an actual screenshot, but I did see screenshots on TikTok from someone who said like someone did like message her when she posted the Instagram story. Someone did send her a message and say, "Oh my gosh, that's derogatory," and like send her the definition of that word. And she said, "Oh, that's not the way that I'm using it, so it's okay," or something like that. Don't want to misquote. So it looks like there was an attempt to educate her on the word. But even with that, I think what she was trying to say is like, oh, I'm not using it in a derogatory, like I'm not calling someone that word. I'm just using it to describe, but you're still using it to describe like a negative feature on your face. And so it's still derogatory, right? Whether you mean it or not. But so I did see that, but again, I have not verified if those are actual screenshots. With AI and everything, I'm starting to question everything. I'm like, are you Carlos? Girl. Are you really Carlos right now? Am I really talking to you?
Let me call myself child. Yes.
Right. So yeah, so there does look like there was an attempt to educate her, but even with that, it's like there's still a line, and that line has been crossed now, sending her death threats, threatening to call ICE on her parents. And it's like, when you are deciding to hold somebody accountable on that level, you are effectively becoming what you're trying to condemn them for. When you're sending somebody a death threat, you're no better than them using a racial slur. When you're threatening to call ICE on someone, you are no better than them using a racial slur. So it's like you become exactly what you're trying to exterminate. And it's counterproductive.
I mean, call her Chef Boyardee because she's cooking. Jasmine, I obviously could not agree more. When you're trying to hold someone accountable for the bad things they've done, and again, I get that. However, you sending death threats you stalking somebody, you bullying them, you're no different. And in some cases, it could actually be deemed as worse
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes what you guys are doing is criminal. It is
Yes.
criminal to stalk somebody. It is criminal to threaten harm on somebody. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're actually worse than them by doing those things that isn't safe. Again, have an opinion, unfollow them, read them for Phil. I love a shady read. Make me, I don't care about that, but I am concerned about her mental health moving forward. And like
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine said, if it is verified
Mm-hmm.
that Cierra allegedly did receive a message saying, "Hey, by the way, that word that you're using is not okay. These are the reasons why it's not okay." And if Cierra decided to still proceed with it and not be educated, then look, that is on her
Yeah.
and let the chips fall where they may be. But at the end of the day, that doesn't deserve you calling ICE on her parents, and it does not deserve her receiving a death threat. Don't
Yeah.
support her. Don't unfollow her, and move on with your life. I agree.
That's
I
it. The
agree.
block button exists for a reason. Like there are I'm not a fan of Huda this season, right? For the reasons that I mentioned to you. But if I see something come across my timeline or my For You page about Huda, I'm not going to like make a comment about her or like talk badly about her. You know what I do? I just scroll up. If something comes across
Yeah.
my, on my phone that I don't want to see, I just scroll up. And if I really don't like it, I just block it. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy to do that versus like engaging in this just like
Mhm.
terrible stan culture. It's awful. But I do say to people, I think stan culture has gotten to this level because we haven't because we're giving it a lot of light. These people who are these like rabid fans, they just want attention. When you starve someone of attention, they will go away. So I say we need to stop like, making writing think pieces, doing videos about, people who are going too far. Just ignore them and then they will see that they're not getting any attention and they'll stop eventually. You got to treat them like a bad kid, really.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. That's actually a really good idea because social media is all about engagement, and the more you promote the hate, the more the person on the receiving end feels promoted to keep doing it. They're getting
Exactly.
something out of it. There's a satisfaction there. But Jazz is right. If you ignore it, it's sort of like when an accountant says follow the money, follow
Mm-hmm.
the trend. You have to follow. I'm sorry, these people are following what's working for them. So if you
Exactly.
engage it, they feel rewarded for it. So, Jazz, we do have up to, I think, 6 more couples who are left on Love Island USA season 7.
Yeah.
Um, Quickly, Jazz, break down these couples to me. Let's start with Ace and Chelley.
Okay, Ace and Chelley, kind of an OG couple, right? Ace was like a content creator. If you ever seen like a guy teaching these dudes in Pakistan how to dance on TikTok, that was Ace. And like, so he already had like a decent following coming into the villa. Chelley, one of the most beautiful women. I'm sure you can see her photo. The girl is a Gina. Okay, so they got into the villa. The story with them was Ace walks in, Chelley goes, "Oh my gosh, I met him before." So their lore is that they met at a club in New York and they exchanged numbers, but Chelley lives in New York, Ace lives in LA. They were like, it's long distance, it's not going to work. So they decided not to do it. And so allegedly, the next time they see each other is when Ace walks into the villa. Now, offline, people are saying Ace and Chelley were a couple and they both came on the show. When I mentioned scammers, they have the number one allegation of being scammers because people are like, no, they knew each other before this. They were like following each other. So they come into the villa. They couple up on the first night, but what happens with the first couple up is the girl Yulissa that I just mentioned, she had the option to steal a guy from one of the other girls because she was the last one to choose her guy. She stole Ace from Chelley. So Chelley ended up having to couple up with this guy Austin, and then Ace, he was coupled up with Yulissa until Yulissa was plucked out of the villa and then he was single. So then they kind of did this will they, won't they. She was in another couple with another guy. Another bombshell comes in. They do a recoupling ceremony. He chooses to couple with the bombshell, leaving Chelley with her other couple that she kind of didn't really want to be in, but they made it work. Eventually, fast forward, there was another recoupling. They choose each other. So they've been in a couple ever since, but they've been one of the couples in the house that everybody kind of knew would be together, even when they weren't in official couples. So that's them, an OG couple. And they do have I would say they have a strong chance of winning. However, because people think they're scammers and because Ace isn't really like a fan favorite anymore, I think
He's
their chances.
gorgeous though. The
Oh,
bone structure, the cheekbones.
Him or her?
Oh, she's gorgeous too, but Ace is a looker. Ace is like Ace is
No,
honey,
Ace
he's
is like
number
that
one.
90s. Ace got that 90s fine, like Nelly, you know what I mean? Like early 2000s.
What's the actor name? Jazz from Juice and Girlfriends. He was Maya's girl. Maya's Taylor Cater.
No, stop, because that was my boo. Hold on,
girl. Let me find it.
Hold on. He was Jabari's daddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, Khalil came. Khalil came, right?
Like that 90s red ball.
Carlos, why did you have to remind me of Khalil? Oh, the dreams I used to have. That's a Black king right there.
Shout out to Kaya. No.
And the girls, by the way, on Love Island, they keep doing this. Babies, that's wrong. It's this.
Okay, wait. It's index and pinky, right? I mean, it's index and thumb.
I thought it was this.
Okay, no. So one of my raindrops, y'all can't be steering me in the wrong direction. One of my raindrops said Carlos is index and thumb. And I said, okay, because I was doing this.
No, see,
this feels more natural.
And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not, this is the gays. I thought the gays were doing this.
Honey, I am the gay, and I'm
That's what I'm saying. If that feels natural to you,
gay,
that's what it is.
As I represent the gays. I know this one feels natural. I like this.
This feels fraudulent to me. This feels very fake.
So raindrops, tell me if it's middle finger and thumb, or is it index and thumb? Let us know in the comments. Okay. But no,
not us both being wrong. Somebody's gonna be like, it's not, it's pinky and thumb.
Clock it. Okay. Ace is 90s fine. All right.
Yes.
Let us break down Amaya and Brian.
So Brian's a new guy. He is a Casa boy. So there is a time in this show when they break off. The girls go to one place, the guys go to one place. So in this season, the guys stayed at the villa and the girls go to a place called Casa Amor, which is effectively another villa. They get a whole new batch of niggas. And then the guys get a whole new batch of girls. So Brian was a Casa boy and he came in and he was originally coupled up with Andreina, who was the bombshell of the bombshell. I know you heard of Miss Andreina, the baddest. So he was originally coupled up with Andreina. That kind of fizzled out. Amaya Papaya, she has had such a roller coaster. She came in as a bombshell. She originally liked Jeremiah, but Huda was going to in her sleep, so she decided to back off of Jeremiah. Then she was coupled up with Ace, and Ace like chose her to couple up and then immediately started negging her and like, I'm gonna set some boundaries, don't call me babe, I don't like touching, like just made her life a living hell, right? And so she was going through it. After Ace, she was coupled up with Austin. Then Austin decided he didn't like her. So like at this point, everybody in America is like, what? Amaya is so sweet, she's so nice, why aren't these guys seeing it for her? So when they go to Casa, she ends up coupling up with Zach, and Zach seems like a guy that's gonna like her. And then they get to this challenge called the Stand On Business Challenge. Ace and Austin both decide to attack Amaya, and then Zach joins them in kind of attacking her, makes the girl cry, all of this. And so Brian is the only man that stood up for her in the Stand On Business Challenge. And he's like, y'all are saying she moves too fast, but when you grow up in a Hispanic household, she's Dominican, Brian's Dominican. He's like, when you grow up in a Hispanic household, we call each other babe and mi amor and all that. That's normal for us. And so everybody is like, yes, Brian, stand up for Amaya Papaya. So then the next recoupling, Amaya chooses Brian, and now they are the couple to beat, really, child. Because America is like, we don't care if Amaya is coupled up with a damn beanbag in the villa. She's winning that 100K. And so Brian might have a free ride to $50,000. Is he genuine? I don't know. The public seems to think so, but you know how I watch TV, Carlos. I'm like, I got my good eye on you, Brian. I don't really know, but he did defend her before she found out that she was America's favorite. So it seems genuine in that regard that he defended her just for the sake of defending her. But I don't know if he's actually 100% into Amaya Papaya, but she's a sweet girl.
Okay, let's get into Chris and Huda. It's Huda, right?
Huda.
Huda.
Like
Chris
Huda.
and Huda.
What she say? Huda. Shoulda. Coulda. Huda. Yeah.
With her hood rats. Come on now.
Yes, Huda and the Hood Rats. So I told you all about Huda. She had a very rocky start. Chris was also a Casa boy. When they went to Casa Amor, he was originally feeling Chelley. Like he really wanted to apply the pressure with Chelley. But they get back to the villa and he sees Chelley is all about Ace. So he and Huda, they were in a couple. He decides to focus all of his efforts onto Huda, and they're making some progress. I don't think they're strong enough to win it, but Huda has an allegiance of fans that are like, we're team Huda no matter what. Like she could stab everybody in the villa, and we're just gonna say it's because she was PMSing, right? Like they are like team Huda down. So I personally don't see it for them, but there's a group of people that are like, yeah, we want Huda, and Chris is just kind of there. They do make like a cute couple. He's
fine too.
So I didn't think when he walked into the casa, I was like, nah. But then as he started talking more, I was like, no, he is very cute. And he's 6'8". So the girls are really into that, apparently. He's a biggin. He's a monster. Yeah. So don't get any idea. Look at you looking up. Say
in case you're watching.
But yeah, that's Huda and Chris. So we'll see how I'm a little nervous. I do think they are probably going to be top two.
The winners. Top two.
Top
okay.
Two. I don't know. I think it's going to be a battle between her and the like Amaya Papaya fans.
All right. Next up, we got Clark and Taylor.
Clark and Taylor. So Taylor was originally coupled up with Olandria, the body of the season. Okay, Olandria has a body that I would give my left kidney for and my left lung. Okay, the body is crazy, beautiful.
Why the left one?
Because I feel like it's less needed. I feel like that's the one I could probably live without.
Okay.
If I had to choose.
I got you, boo.
But Olandria and Taylor, they were coupled up. Olandria is from Alabama. Taylor is from Oklahoma. Olandria has this fantasy of being with like a countryman, a cowboy. Taylor literally lives on like a farm. Like his family is like in the rodeo business, right? So Olandria was trying to make it work with Taylor. The thing with Taylor, he was not attracted to Olandria. Now, if you see Olandria, you're going to say, how could you not be attracted? Different strokes for different folks, right? He wasn't attracted to her, so he really wasn't applying pressure like that until a bombshell came in for Olandria. Taylor wanted to keep his spot on the show, so he applied a little bit of pressure, and then when the bombshell left, he kind of went back to flatlining with her. And so when the girls went to Casa and the new Villa girls came in, Taylor was given a choice between Coco and Clark, two beautiful Black women. He initially chose Coco, but then he ended up coupled up with Clark, or spending some time with Clark, and he decided he had a better connection with Clark. And from there, it's like he just fell in love with Clark. And so, unfortunately, because Olandria was a fan favorite and people think that Taylor led Olandria on, America hates Taylor, and by proxy, they hate Clark. And so Clark has just been dealt a really bad hand. But the gag is her and Taylor actually make a very cute couple. And Taylor is a new man with Clark, honey. Like he's planning dates, he's kissing, he's affectionate, all of the things that he wasn't with Olandria. He is a definition of if he wanted to, he would, because he is doing with Clark. And Clark is just, princess treatment. She's taking it all in like, yeah, this is how a man is supposed to treat me. Right. There was a big blow up with Taylor and Olandria at the end of the Stand on Business challenge, and they were able to like write these anonymous notes to each other. but you could sign your name. So Olandria wrote Taylor a note and signed his name. It was like, you need to make up your mind and stop acting like a little bitch and da 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 da. He got another letter. They went back and forth. You know, Olandria had a slight little crash out about him. He got another note that was like, you need to make up your mind. He was like, y'all want me to choose? I choose Clark. And it was like, oh, I mean, we knew he was gonna choose Clark, but saying it like that in front of the whole villa, opening up the same motherfucking wound, Flav, the same wound, and he chooses Clark, and now that's his couple.
Is that a Timmy Pollard shout out?
You know it is. You know it is. You know when he chose Delicious, and you opening the same motherfucking wound,
Flav. I love you. Continue.
I love you too.
Yes.
So that's that. Taylor and Clark are together. They have zero chance at winning though, because they did a vote where people voted them like the least genuine people, the couple they would least want to go on vacation with, and it's all because they just hate Taylor. But you know, if there were other couples that I liked more, I would vote for Taylor and Clark because I think they are a really cute couple, and I actually could see them together in the real world. So that's them.
Okay. Up next is Iris, and is it Pepe?
Pepe.
Okay.
So they both had the loves of their lives in the villa, and both of them went home. So Pepe was coupled up with this girl Hannah. Hannah ended up she got voted off by the girls, very unceremonious. There have been a lot of like betraying, like some betrayal going on with the votes. Anyway, the girls vote Hannah off. Pepe is devastated, whatever. Iris was coupled up with this guy named TJ. And then in the last challenge, TJ ended up being dumped from the villa too. So Iris and Pepe literally just got together in this last recoupling. And they are kind of together out of convenience. Like both of the people that they like the most are not in the villa anymore. And so I think they're just kind of gonna ride this out as like a friendship couple. Because on the outside they have two people that are waiting for them. Now, some people are saying that they want to vote for Pepe because Pepe seems to be a gentleman. He hasn't given a lot, but when they do show him, he is very respectful of the ladies, even if he's not in a couple with them or if he has no romantic interest. He's always like very gentle with the women. And so I think a lot of girls on the outside are seeing that and they like Pepe. I don't think they have a shot at winning, but you know, we'll see what happens. Love Island continues to shock me because I'm shocked that Huda is still in my villa.
Okay, and last couple we have is Nick and Olandria, who, by the way, Olandria is stunning. So gorge.
That's the body of the season. That's the girl I was just telling you about. I mean, if a Greek goddess was painted, it would be her, like beautiful. Yeah. So hashtag Nick Olandria, that's this couple. So all season, people on the outside have been shipping Nick and Olandria because in one of the earlier challenges, Nick kissed Olandria, or was it Olandria kissed Nick? I don't remember. Anyway, Nick was feeling it. So people in America are like, oh, we want to see this jungle fever. Like that needs to happen. And so there's been a hashtag Nick Olandria for most of the season. When they went to Casa, Nick and Olandria both got dumped off of the villa, but producers did some magic and ended up telling them they sent them to this like garden date and told them you can either couple up and go back to the villa or you can stay single and then you both will leave. And they're like, we're on a game show. $100,000 is on the line. We both had people in the villa at that time that they liked. We're just going to couple up. They couple up. They share one of the most passionate kisses I've ever seen in my life in soul ties. And they're like, we're just going to stay friends. So they get back on the show. They're with their respective couples. Like I told you, Taylor and Olandria implodes. Cierra is yanked from the villa. So Nick goes back to Olandria and he's like, hey, I'm still feeling you. Like he's been on her though. He's on her body. Like when he got to kiss her, he's like, when I came into this villa, I saw Olandria. That was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. His family on the outside stands Nick Olandria. Like his mom wants him with Olandria. Yeah, even though he was in a whole nother couple. Yeah. Yeah. So last night when they coupled up, there's a video of his family like celebrating in their house that they are now finally like officially coupled up and seeming like they want to give it a real shot. And so I think they have a really high chance of winning too, because everybody on the outside, if you search Nick Olandria, legions of people want them together. And so we'll see what happens.
I've when I was like, on social media throughout the weeks the show has been on, Olandria was like the number one person in terms of my algorithm that just kept popping up and people loving them. So Jasmine, last thing, the winning couple gets $100,000 cash prize. Is that the reward that they get?
Yeah, so this is where it's a little fuzzy for me, and I'm sure someone will like correct this. I saw in some cases like one person gets the money and they can choose to split it with the other person. So I really don't. Yeah, I'm still fuzzy on that, and that's my bad. I actually didn't confirm that before getting on here.
Okay.
I probably should have looked up, but yeah, there's $100,000 on the line, and that's what I know for sure.
And last thing, Jazz, who is Jasmine Henley Brown rooting for?
Oh my gosh. It's hard. It's almost like your presidential vote. Like, should we talk about politics in the workplace? Because it can get real sticky. I don't know. Like,
Jazz, before
yes.
I'm gonna give you some time because you and I are journalists. Hey, Portia. So, Jasmine, you're right. The cash prize on Love Island USA is $100,000. The winning couple receives the money and has the option to split it or for one person to keep it all.
Gotcha.
In most cases, the winning couple has chosen to split the prize. So you're right.
Yeah, yeah. I will say if Amaya wins, Amaya, listen to me. She's not gonna see this because they can't see anything. Keep that $100,000 to yourself. Don't split it with Brian. Look, you can give him 10 and keep 90,000. Okay. Is my math right? Yes. Amaya, don't give that man half of that money. Do not give that man half of that money. I don't know who I'm voting for, Carlos. Honestly, it's gonna be a split. It's gonna be a game time like buzzer. Buzzer is the NBA, right? Like when they shoot the ball at the last. I'm gonna decide at the buzzer. That's how it's gonna be for me because I could go Nick Olandria because at first I wasn't feeling it, but they shared a laugh in last night's episode, and I was like, that's a laugh that you only share with your soulmate. So I could go Nick Olandria. Chelley and Ace, they've been the OG couple, and I don't really care if they're scamming. I don't give a damn. Get that money, right? I don't really care about that. So many people on reality TV be scamming anyway. I'm so used to these people being disingenuous. I don't care at this point. Just give them the money. But, Amaya Papaya, she's sweet. I don't know. Taylor and Clark, they're not going to win. So if I vote for them, it's going to be a wasted vote. And then Iris and Pepe, they're friends. They're friends. They're just trying to get to the end to get out the villa so they can go find their people. So I don't know. It's gonna come down to over these next couple. I know I can tell you I'm not voting for Huda and Chris. That's who I know for sure I'm not voting for them.
So no for them. Okay.
No.
I am rooting for Ace and Chelley.
Because you think Ace is fine. That's valid. That's valid.
And I appreciate a couple who said we are going to rig the system and just get this money and buy a house for our children, our future.
Okay. Kids. It's $100,000 on the line. I would do some strange things too. I get it how you live. I don't know.
Hilarious if they're like, we are going to rig the system, break up, get back together on the show, get this money and start a family. Hey, that's a story to be told. Jasmine, I can't thank you enough. You have really, guys, I don't understand how this woman is able to retain so much information because the way off the dome she's able to give us so much pertinent details with each couple is fascinating. It's a gift. And that's why you all need to subscribe to her YouTube channel and her TikTok and social media. Jasmine, tell my raindrops who are listening and watching where they can find you, follow you, and support your amazingness all over the YouTube world, TikTok world, and social media world.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, friend. Before I do that, I just want to say there's so much that I had to leave out because this would be 2 hours if I was telling you every detail of the lore. And you know how we were just talking about fandoms. Someone's gonna be in the comments like, she forgot to tell you that. Yes, there's a lot that I left out, sweetie. Just I'm thinking off the dome here. I'm not looking at my Love Island Bible, so I don't have every detail. But Carlos, you should definitely get into it at some point. But yes, people can find me J Henley Brown on all platforms and YouTube and interact with me. One of my favorite things about creating content and talking about TV is really getting the chance to like talk to other people about their opinions. So don't just follow me, interact. I love to talk.
Yeah, no, she definitely interacts with her fans and the audience. So please do that. Jasmine Henley Brown, ladies, gentlemen, gays and days, and we will be back when the finale happens. Because I'm gonna bring Jasmine back so we can talk about ultimately who the winner was, and then to see her thoughts on that. So thank you, Jazz, once again. Absolutely. I'll see you in the next one.
Yes, thank you so much for having me as always.